It hurt at first. But soon I never wanted him to stop. When I look back now, it almost feels like a dream, a blur of emotions, desire, fear, and the kind of love that changes you forever. I never thought I would fall for him. I never thought I would cross that line. But that night, everything shifted, and the pain of the first step was nothing compared to the hunger that grew inside me after. His name was Daniel. He wasn't just any guy, he was my brother's best friend. That fact alone should have made him off-limits, untouchable. He had been around our house for years, sitting at the dinner table, helping my brother with college projects, even carrying boxes during our move. To me, he was always the charming, confident boy with the easy smile, the one every girl in the neighborhood wanted but never really had. As I grew older, I started noticing the little things. The way his eyes lingered on me a little longer than necessary. The way his smile softened when it was directed at me instead of everyone else. The way he sometimes avoided me, as if being too close would reveal too much. And maybe I was imagining it, maybe I wanted to imagine it, but deep down, I knew. There was something there. The night it happened, my brother had gone out with friends, leaving Daniel behind in our living room. I had been upstairs, reading, when I heard laughter drifting through the halls. When I came down, I found Daniel sitting comfortably on the couch, scrolling through his phone, his broad shoulders relaxed against the cushions. He looked up, and for the briefest second, our eyes locked in a way they never had before. "Hey," he said casually, but his voice carried something deeper. "Hey," I replied, trying to keep my tone steady. I walked past him, but I could feel his gaze following me, heavy, almost magnetic. I sat at the other end of the couch, pretending to scroll through my own phone, though my heart was racing in my chest. Minutes passed in silence, until finally, he spoke again. "You look different tonight." I glanced at him. Different how? His eyes lingered on my face, then dropped briefly to my lips before darting back up. Older. More. I don't know. More grown up. Something inside me shifted. That was the moment. The moment when walls I had built around us began to crack. I laughed nervously, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear. "You've known me since I was 13, Daniel. Don't start making it weird now." But instead of backing away, he leaned slightly forward, his gaze intense. "It's already weird. Has been for a while." The air thickened between us, electric and dangerous. I should have walked away. I should have reminded him about my brother, about the rules we weren't supposed to break. Instead, I whispered, "Then maybe we should stop pretending." That was all it took. He closed the distance between us in seconds, his lips crashing against mine with a hunger that had clearly been building for years. The first kiss was desperate, messy, almost painful in its urgency, but it was real. My hands trembled as I clutched his shirt, pulling him closer, terrified and exhilarated all at once. When his hand slid around my waist, tugging me against him, I felt the heat of his body, the strength in his touch. It was overwhelming. I gasped against his mouth, and he pulled back, his forehead resting against mine. "Tell me to stop," he whispered, his breath hot against my skin. "If I keep going, I won't be able to turn back." I should have told him to stop. I should have thought about the consequences. But instead, I shook my head and whispered, "Don't stop." We stumbled into my room, closing the door behind us as though the thin wood could keep out the storm of emotions that raged inside. His hands explored me with a hunger that was both terrifying and thrilling. When he finally laid me down, I felt a rush of panic, of nerves I couldn't hide. He noticed immediately, brushing his lips over mine in a gentler kiss this time. "Are you sure?" he asked softly. His eyes searched mine, filled with a mixture of desire and restraint. "Yes," I breathed. "I want this. I want you." The first touch was fire, but the first time, the moment our bodies truly connected, was sharp, almost unbearable. A gasp escaped my lips, my hand tightening around his arm. For a second, the pain made me want to pull away, but his lips were on mine again, whispering, reassuring, his hand stroking my hair as he stilled inside me. "I know," he murmured. It hurts at first. Just breathe. I'm here. I held on to him, trusting him, needing him to guide me through it. And slowly, the pain began to fade, replaced by something else, something deeper, hotter, more consuming than I could have imagined. Pleasure. Desire. The realization that I never wanted this feeling to end. When I opened my eyes and looked at him, I saw more than lust in his gaze. I saw care, devotion, and a kind of love I hadn't expected. And when the rhythm between us changed, when the tension broke and left us breathless in each other's arms, I knew we had crossed a line we could never come back from. Afterwards, we lay tangled together in silence, our hearts still racing, our bodies damp with sweat. I rested my head on his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. For a long time, neither of us spoke. Then finally, he kissed the top of my head and whispered, "I've wanted this for so long. Wanted you for so long." Tears stung my eyes, though I wasn't sure why. Happiness? Relief? Fear? Maybe all of it. "So have I whispered back. The days that followed were a blur of secrecy and stolen moments. Every time my brother wasn't looking, Daniel's hand would find mine. Every time we were alone, we kissed like we were starving. And every night, I lay awake replaying it all in my mind, craving more. It was reckless. It was dangerous. But it was also the most alive I had ever felt. Of course, we couldn't hide forever. One evening, my brother walked into the kitchen to find Daniel brushing my hair back and pressing a quick kiss to my temple. The silence that followed was deafening. My brother's face went pale, his fists clenched at his sides. "What the hell is going on?" he demanded. I froze, panic rising in my chest, but Daniel stepped forward, placing himself between us. "I love her," he said firmly. "And I'm not going to hide it anymore." The words hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. My brother stared at him, then at me, his eyes wide with shock and betrayal. But instead of exploding, he shook his head slowly. "You're my best friend, Daniel. And she's my sister. If you screw this up," his voice broke. "If you hurt her, I'll never forgive you." Daniel reached for my hand, threading his fingers through mine. "I'll spend my life proving I won't." And he did. From that day on, there were no more secrets. No more hiding. Our relationship wasn't easy, there were whispers, judgments, challenges, but through it all, Daniel stayed. He loved me openly, fiercely, completely. Years later, when he slipped a ring onto my finger under the soft glow of fairy lights, I remembered that first night. The way it hurt. The way it healed. The way it transformed into something so much more. And as I looked into his eyes, I realized the truth. Yes, it had hurt at first. But soon, I never wanted him to stop.